That's working good. It's the next day from the video that I posted yesterday when I put these boards up here. And also, I don't know how well it comes through, but the dirt there right along the edge of it looks a little different. That's because it's not dirt, it's kitty litter. When I was researching the bentonite clay and stuff last year, I found that it's also used in cheap kitty litter. So I went and bought a, I don't know, 20-pound bag of it at the hardware store for 11 bucks or whatever it was, and just sprinkled it through here along with some shovelfuls of dirt. And it's working really well. Let's step along behind it. I'll show you what I mean. It's not really leaking out under these boards. I think this is all just where it's running around the side. So this is working great. I came out today for two reasons. First reason, I thought, well, I'm gonna need to pump more water. Don't need to pump more water. I can't hold any more water. So that's fine. I'll set the gas over here. We're hunting in the morning. I need to add oil to it anyway. I'll set that out over here, and it'll be ready to go. If I need to top it off after we hunt in the morning, then I'll do so, because I'm gonna hunt probably Friday as well. If not Friday, Saturday. Kind of playing it by ear on the weather. But this is looking great. The other reason I came out today is you guys must have really liked this last video, because for one thing, it performed way better than a bunch of them. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate that. I still noticed about half of you that watched it didn't subscribe. So if you liked that video yesterday, you enjoy this one, give old Bruce here a subscribe. I'd appreciate it. But also, several of you asked some questions about what I'm doing and just kind of, you know, things in general. So I'm gonna sit you guys down a little bit so I can look at my phone, read those questions, and we're gonna talk about them, because I really, really appreciate that from you guys. Thanks. Hey, what's going on, guys? So as I mentioned, I got some really good comments and some questions on the last video. So I really wanted to come out here and address those for you. Two guys actually had the same question. So both Cool Clo 85, he says, excuse me, I'm still getting over COVID. Can you show how you attach the can to the pump? My pond's about an hour away, about 35 minutes for me, and it gets annoying going up there every day to fill it and run it when I can't hang out. Agreed. Yes, it does. I mentioned it in a video where I talked about this pump previously. The tank on it is about 9/10 of a gallon, so it gets like an hour and 45 minutes of run time. That's not enough. I put 3 or 4 cans of gas already just to flood this one hole. And Wave Oglesby 2920 asked the same question. Would like to see your setup on the pump with the gas can. I'll get into that. I'll take some close-ups, and I'll try to remember to put links to the products that I use. I got the can you can get anywhere. You can get a plastic can anywhere. But some of the other stuff that I used as far as connecting the can to the pump, things like that, I got all that stuff on Amazon, easy to find and cheap. And then CCJJ930, man, if that's your name, your mama doesn't like you. Just kidding. Says, looking good. I personally prefer the longer videos and would like to see more of everything you do. Setting up the pump, filling the tank, cutting branches, etc. Even though it's pretty straightforward, I enjoy watching the whole process, just my 2 cents worth. And he goes on to say, our season doesn't start till November 24th here in Alabama, so I look forward to seeing your hunts. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid growing up in Kentucky, yeah, that was about when ours started as well. We didn't get to hunt until Thanksgiving. We get to hunt here this weekend, but like I said, I'm coming. Every year I say I'm not gonna mess with it, every year I go. The birds aren't here yet. Migration won't start till late November, early December. But there's local geese, there's local wood ducks, there's even a few local mallards. We're gonna give them a spin. So yeah, I agree with you, CC. I like the longer form stuff too, not just in hunting, but some other stuff I watch. And I like hearing the thought process that goes into all that. So I'm gonna share some of that with you guys today. Show you the process of getting this pump running. It's not as easy as it was last year, because I think my impeller is worn out. Probably from sitting in all the rust, sitting in all the water and rusting and things like that. It's also making a pretty serious knocking sound, which I think is just the, like I said, the impeller rattling around in there. I need to see if I can purchase a new one, I think. I don't really need to pump today, but I'll go through the whole process. I'm gonna fill it up with gas, get it started, get it primed, get it started, get it flowing and all that stuff. And then I'll just shut it off and it'll be ready to go for tomorrow, because I am probably gonna pump it after we hunt tomorrow. So let me pick you guys up Let me show you first, let me address how I have this can attached to the pump, and then we'll get into the process of getting her all set up and ready to run. All right, that just gives you a quick view of what we got going on. I'm falling in the creek. So this is a really basic setup, and I'd like to say it was my own idea, but it's not. I stole it from somebody else that did something similar. So start with a plastic 5-gallon can. I use plastic over metal because it was easier to get the fitting in. Metal I would have had to braze or something like that. This is just a press and fitting. I'll get you down there closer. Things you need to consider. One, the can needs to stay above the carburetor. There's no fuel pump on these things. It's totally gravity fed. So you'll need to make sure that this can stays above the carburetor at all times, however you have it set up. I have it attached to the top of the pump right now, just with a bungee strap, and this has held it in place pretty good. You could put plywood across there if you're handy with metal, some kind of a lid across it, and that would work probably even better. Notice that it's close to the muffler. I really paid close attention the first day I set this up, kept coming up here. The metal got hot, the can actually stayed cool. So it's run 3 or 4 tanks through it like this. Haven't started a fire yet. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to. But pulling back around, let me get down in here a little bit closer and show you what we're dealing with. So a couple of things. One is this fitting. This is a on-off valve that I got from Amazon. There's a little screen in there that will, get any gross stuff out. So this gets installed. I used a step bit. Some people call them a uni bit. That's one of those that looks like a cone instead of a regular drill bit. A regular drill bit, once it starts to bite in this plastic, will catch and just cut like a knife and kind of makes a ragged hole in plastic. So for plastic, I like using that uni bit better than a regular drill bit. You can go to Home Depot and probably give them 30-something bucks for one of those, or you can go to Harbor Freight and give them 8 and send me the change. The option is totally up to you. But this rubber grommet goes in here first. You drill the hole, the rubber grommet pushes in. You want it to just be snug, because when you push this piece in, that becomes a press fit into here, and it pushes that grommet out a little bit and helps it seal. I have had no leakage around this at all. I did put, excuse me, a little grease around this fitting when I slid it in to help it go in, but it went in pretty good. And then I think this is, I think I got these clamps. I think they came with this fitting. And I think this is just 1/4-inch fuel line. Whatever you need to fit over these fittings, you can get that at any auto supply store, AutoZone, Pep Boys, any of those things are going to have it. I did buy a little clear filter just to get any other crud. I think I got that off of Amazon as well. And it's even nice because I can see that fuel is flowing in there. So that helps me know things are ready to go. And now this is the existing fuel line that was on the tank when it came. So I did have to remove the tank on this. I think it was about 3 bolts. Took that tank off. There was a vent probably that helps vent the fuel tank. And I just pulled that off and crammed this in there. Again, put a little grease on the fittings so they slide in a little bit easier. And this one's so tight I didn't even put the clamp back on it, because it was everything I could do to get it on there. It's tight. It's not going anywhere. Same thing here. Didn't even need the clamp. But that's how I got that set up. Do note, up under here, I can't put a camera in here. I took a drill bit and just kind of walled out a little hole on the underside of this handle. You need a vent, some kind of a vent to let air in while fuel's going out. If not, you'll form a vacuum and the fuel will stop flowing, right? So don't put it on the top, because then it'll rain in it. I put it on the bottom up underneath the handle. I've even carried it around. I think it maybe splashes a little bit if it's full, but for the most part, it doesn't. You do want this fitting to be as low as you can, but I also set it so that, it will move. I can turn it to the side, and this will still sit down on a flat surface. Don't put it underneath here necessarily, because then you just can't set the can down. But put it as close to the bottom as you can on a surface of the can, that is flat, so you get a good seal with this grommet. Last year, instead of setting it on top of the pump like I have here, I just had a big blue plastic bin set next to it, and I strapped it down with a bungee strap so it would sit next to it. It doesn't really matter as long as the bottom of the can stays above the top of the carburetor. Gravity's going to work it for you. I've even seen some guys that just hang the can on a tree next to it. I'd be hesitant to hang it super high because if you got too much flow, you could probably flood that carburetor out. I don't recall the internals with these carburetors. I've been inside one, but I don't think it has a float bowl in this thing like an automotive carburetor would. But still, I wouldn't hang it 5 feet above it. Just above the carburetor is all you need, and it will just about, like this is almost empty. It will drain a 5-gallon can. So that's how I've got this can set up. It's working really good. I'm really happy with it. And all in, the can was the most expensive thing. A 5-gallon plastic gas can was like 30 bucks. I don't get it, but whatever. But this stuff was cheap. The little valve down here was cheap. The fuel filter's cheap. Fuel line is cheap. I had bungees laying around. You probably do too. But yeah, that's how I have that set up. So let me set you down again, and we'll get this sucker ready to run. Like I said, it's been a little tougher lately because the impeller's getting worn out. All right, so first thing, gassing it up. That's pretty straightforward, right? Most of you can pour pee out of a boot. Not all. But I will probably fast forward through this about, somewhere through here. Just be careful. Safety reminder. Don't do this while the engine's running. Not gonna say I've always practiced what I preach. If you pour gas on it, it shorts out the kill switch, I guess, and it shuts off. And also scares me because gas and heat make fire, and fire hurts. So shut it off if you got to fill this up. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour this 5 gallons. Like I said, I don't need it today, but I'll probably run it tomorrow after we hunt. So I'm gonna pour gas. Why don't y'all fast forward? All right, she's full of gas, ready to go. I did notice yesterday when I was out here, when it started making a clanking noise, I thought, I hope that's not a rod knock. So I did check the oil. It appeared a little low. Oh, I didn't bring a funnel. This will be fun. Oh no, that's full. It doesn't need any oil. Huh, all right, well, let me check the other side. That's weird. Nah, that's good. All right, well, good. Doesn't need oil. All right, next step is I gotta prime this. Last year, if I ran it 2 days in a row, I didn't need to prime it again. But like I said, I think I'm losing my suction because I can tell, for one thing, the pipe is collapsed almost all the way. And typically it would hold water. But last year I did not need to try to prime it again. I would just fire it up and it would start pumping immediately. But looks like maybe the impeller's not working as good. So reach into your back pocket, pull out a 5-gallon bucket, step over here to the creek. Try not to get leaves in it or dirt. Not that it's gonna hurt anything. It'll just pour out and cover the hole completely, and you'll have to just stop and clean that off before you fill it up. It's just annoying. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just a pain in the butt. So, and there goes a leaf. So I got about half of I say 5 gallons, probably 6-gallon bucket. I meant to bring a funnel the last 3 times. As you know now, as you notice, I'm not using a funnel, but I just kind of pour it in here. It doesn't hurt it to get water splashed on it, but I am trying to get as much of it in there as I can. I'm just pouring it in. Alrighty, set this back down. cover this back up. You can obviously run it without the cap for the prime hole open, but it'll just shoot water up in the air and won't pump anything. So put that cap back on. And get ready. Oh, one thing, these fittings here, the 3-inch NPT pipe fittings, both for the outflow and the intake hose. I put a little grease on there, just, you know, cheap grease you've got sitting around for whatever purpose. I just rubbed a little grease on those threads, made it much, much easier to screw on. So happy with that. Happy with that. Do that definitely. All right, I got her on. Look down, check the kill switch. Since it stopped running because it was out of fuel, that is still on. These are your basic small engine slash lawnmower kinds of controls. It's got a fuel shut off. That's still on because I haven't turned it off since it ran yesterday. It's got a throttle and it's got a choke. So the throttle, I don't run it wide open. I think, and I don't have any data to back this up, so if I run it wide open, obviously that's the most flow per minute right then at that time. But running wide open consumes a lot more fuel than throttling back. Think about it in your truck. When you got your foot to the floor, you maybe go 25% faster, but you use 50% more gas. Same kind of thing here. So I back it down just enough to where I can hear the throttle come down. Run it just a little off of full throttle, probably like 80%, something like that. And it still shoots a ton of water out. I think it runs, I know it runs longer. My thinking is that it's less gallons per minute, but it runs for a longer period of time. So the net effect is I put more water in the hull. Is that true or not? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, but it sounds good, doesn't it? One thing is, though, not running an engine wide open for 8 or 9 hours, backing it off, it's just a little bit easier on the engine, and I know that's true. So I just back it off a little bit. I'm going to move you just a little bit because, well, maybe I can do it for here. So I don't know how well you'll see this because I'm going to have to move around. There's a little bit of water in the pipe right here. What I have had to do the last couple of times to get it primed is I have to pick this thing up. Excuse me. All right, I'm back. So we're going to try to get this guy fired up. And like I said, I'm going to see if she'll prime. We'll see. So get down here, like I said, throttle is fine where I need it. So I get it running. I'll probably show you guys the difference between wide open where I run it and wide open and where I run it. Oh, hey, that's starting to fill up already. Come on. Yep, it's getting ready to go. There she goes. I talked it all up like it was going to be hard. That was easy. I got a little leakage right here. Let me get away from this. I got a little leakage right there. That's just because instead of taking care of my equipment, I left this hose sitting in the woods right up here all year. Literally, from when the season ended until last week, it was just sitting up here in the woods. So otherwise, it's perfect. I watched, if you guys watch Bobby Guy, he was doing some pumping with a 2-inch pump. He bought a bunch of brand new hose, spent like $650 and it, like in 2 days, sprung leaks. This is the 3rd season on this stuff and I have not taken care of it. Harbor Freight, man. I mean, say what you will, but their stuff works. So that's it. That's how I get the pump running. That's how I've got my 5-gallon gas can on it. That's the process I go through to get this sucker ready. So that's it. I don't need to pump it, so I'm actually gonna go shut it off. It'll be ready. All right, we finish hunting tomorrow. Depending on water level, I may fire it up again. So hey, again guys, thanks for the questions. Thanks for the comments. I love answering your questions. It was really fun for me, so I appreciate that. Please ask some more and I will try to do the same thing. Come out here and answer your questions. So again, give me that thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff, and keep the comments coming. I really, really do enjoy that. Thanks. So As always, I'm Bruce, and we're watching Foul Play Outdoors.